What if the best elders aren't the loudest or most educated, but the ones who quietly love people like Jesus? Would you still want to be an elder if it meant opening your home, sharing your ice cream, and facing hard conversations with grace? Have you ever known a leader in your church who was both firm in truth and gentle in spirit? What separates an elder who just attends meetings from a real shepherd who changes lives? Who's the best elder you've ever known, and what made him different? This episode will stir your memories and raise the bar for what an eldership should be.
Welcome to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. Mr. Barber is a preacher, a ventriloquist, a barefoot runner, and writes 2 blogs. When Jerrie communicates, he encourages people, try not to learn very much. Find a mustard seed. In the next few minutes, try not to learn very much. Look for something you can do to move a mountain, remove a stumbling block, or provide a stepping stone for yourself or someone else. And now, here's Jerrie with this week's mustard seed.
Near the end of my first New Shepherds orientation workshop, one of the elders asked, "Who's one of the best elders you've ever served with?" My mind went to Ed Ryden in Madisonville, Kentucky. We first met when Jerrie Wayne and I stayed in his home in November 1968. We were in Madisonville, Kentucky to try out as the next preacher. During a diaper change, Jerrie Wayne, 2 months old, deposited a high amount of humidity on their couch. I thought that'd be the end of my consideration. But Ed and Sarah Ryden were understanding, telling us their grandparents and that happened before. This was my first impression of a great shepherd and his wife. Ed worked at the post office and introduced us to disposable diaper samples recently delivered through the mail. I passed the tryout. We started working with the Madisonville church in December 1968. He invited me to go with him on visits with members, visitors, sick, new parents, bereaved, and discouraged. One of my favorite Ed stories occurred on one of our first nights visiting. As we were finishing, he asked, "You like ice cream?" When I replied in the affirmative, he pointed me to a Quick Pick Market. Ed bought a half-gallon box of cherry, almond, vanilla ice cream. He went in the kitchen, placed the box of ice cream on the table, retrieved a serrated edge knife from a drawer, and cut the box of ice cream in 2. He handed me a spoon, half the ice cream, took another for himself, and said, "I never like to eat ice cream unless I can eat all I want." We finished that half-gallon of ice cream. I knew this would be a great relationship. From the first meeting until his death, April 11, 1976, I was able to observe a good shepherd in action. Some of the admirable characteristics I saw in Ed. 1, he was firm. When the elders there asked me to speak on a difficult topic, an elder would go to the pulpit before me and say, "We asked Jerrie to speak on this topic. We encourage those who need to make changes in their lives to do it today." After the sermon, an elder would publicly thank me for the sermon and commend those who responded. 2, he was compassionate. His tone was gentle, even with those who were upset with him. He gave hope and encouragement to a man we visited one night who was drunk. I was a young preacher who made mistakes. When Ed discussed those with me, he always expressed confidence that I would learn and do better. 3, his priorities were obvious. He spent more time with sheep than in meetings talking about the members. His leadership was demonstrated then in the lives of his children, and decades later it's still there. 4, he was approachable. Ed and Sarah often invited my family and others into their home. They were given to hospitality. I felt free to drop in any time I wanted to talk. When I think of good shepherds, one that comes quickly to mind is Ed Riordan. Who are good shepherds you have known?
Thank you for listening to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. If you found a mustard seed, send a text or email with the link to a friend. This podcast was brought to you by Jerrie Wayne Barber, Sales Manager with AmeriPro Roofing. AmeriPro Roofing has been around since the year 2000 and has had an office in Franklin, Tennessee for the last 10 years. We have installed well over 200,000 roofs nationwide and are excellent at replacing roofs, gutters, and siding. We are reasonably priced and outstanding at working with your insurance, which helps minimize your out-of-pocket expense. If you would like a free inspection of your roof and other exteriors, please call Jerrie Barber at 931-628-3390 for an appointment in Middle Tennessee. AmeriPro Roofing. Standards through the roof. Thank you for listening. Jerrie looks forward to next week as we continue to collect and plant mustard seeds.